Okay, guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here. Just going to go do my walk and talk that I promised. This is for those that can't get out and just like to hear some of my stories. Anybody ever wants me to talk about something, I've got no problems talking about it within reason, obviously, if it doesn't affect anybody else. Because, like, all my life has been spent around some really good boys, and, obviously, it's got a serious place in Northern Ireland. A lot of serious things have been done by both sides, and there's some things can't be talked about, obviously, but I can skirt around issues and I can skirt around things and give people an idea. You know what I mean? It's no like it's like you'll be able to work most of it out yourselves. I'm quite sure. You know what I mean? Use your imagination. It doesn't take much to put two and two together these days. But no, just a wee walk. So I'm going to do this in two parts. There's going to be this bit here, and then I'll get to a road, and then I'm going to turn it off at the road, and then start again once I get back into the woods, just to keep everything safe for the dog, because some of the roads can be dangerous. This way, girl. That's a wee burn. So it's a mining village, you know what I mean? About 1 mile away from a major city. Very good spot. Surrounded by two little burns, as you can see. They call them burns. They're like wee rivers, streams. They can get quite dangerous when it rains, all the water coming off the fields and stuff. So where I stay, basically surrounded with them, so it makes it difficult for them to build. Don't get me wrong, they are building. They've built a couple of hundred houses around us, new builds. I'm quite sure they've got plans for more, basically anywhere they can. There's been like really expensive houses put up as well, so yeah. Funny, like, because I was like, who's going to afford them, Yeah, I mean, you can afford them. But there was I'm actually a Muslim family bought one of them. Really big house. So it's good that they're doing well, because this is a thing, it's very difficult. I'm going to be doing a video shortly. Well, it's more like a bit of a podcast. There's a very good friend of mine, and he's from Africa, and I just would like to get a chat with him and like bring his story to the platform and give people, because we have got a bit of a problem. It'd be stupid if I didn't recognise it, because of the way the government are behaving, and this is in America and Britain. The way our governments are behaving and putting us all down as right wing Nazi thugs. It is difficult. And it's not I'm trying to prove, I've got a bracket. It's not one of them ones. It's nothing to do with that. It's, to be honest with you, it's more to, because not everybody is like me and you that's listening to this video, watching this video. We know we're not racist, Personally, I know there's no such thing as racism. It's just a word that's been made up. It's impossible to hate somebody for the colour of skin. But sometimes I feel just the way the government are doing things right now, that it could breed some sort of hatred, it could breed, the message could get lost where, like, for instance, my thing is undocumented immigration coming into the country. People that we don't know, they're throwing their ID away, and they're dangerous men. They're coming in, they're doing terrible things, and I want that brought to a stop. But in that message, it sometimes get lost that I want all immigration to stop, and that's not the case. My problem is that these guys that are coming into my country illegally, breaking the law to come in here, they're jumping the queue. There's women and children that really do need our help. They need our refuge, and they're not getting that. Because I know we're full already, and I don't know whenever the government actually decide they say we're full. Even if they ever did, maybe they'll never say that. Maybe they'll just keep filling it up, and it'll just boil over the top, and the whole thing will catch on fire just like a chip pan fire. That's what I feel like. Exactly. That's what I promise you. I can't pick a different, what do you call it for it, But like, I imagine they have to say enough's enough. Our infrastructure can't take this. I can't take it now. I don't want to keep going back and forth to that, but you know, the government have to. Surely they've got to say, right, we're not getting ahead. So what I'm saying is, when they do say that and not getting ahead and stop anybody else coming in, that means these people that really do deserve our refuge and they need our help don't get it, you know. And it is heartbreaking, you know. And there's like, it's difficult because everybody knows we're not a nation of racists. Everybody knows we're, it's like anything, you know. So basically, one of the big problems is like the Muslim guys, and they're Muslims, they've got a religion, that's what they do, They don't like dogs and all that, you know what I mean? And like, we're a nation of dog lovers, as you can see, and and they get all really like, some of them can get quite aggressive sometimes. Now, obviously, they're not. I've got to say, this is my opinion. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and it's my opinion of what I see in life. And they get quite offensive and defensive, and I feel like, I've been walking my dog here for X amount of years and I've never had a problem with anybody, and I'm quite well known and everybody seems to like me, and all of a sudden you're being nasty towards me because you're not happy with my dog, and that's just a small example of how animosities can arise in communities, and that's me being very, very mellow, and yeah, it is a problem. It is a problem, because like on top of that, it's horrible being called a racist and the far right. And then these people that are coming over, they're jumping on that bandwagon. They're the ones that are standing at these protests, shouting Nazi scum, not welcome, and all that. And refugees are welcome. These are the ones that are calling me Nazi scum. The people that they're coming into this country, and it's true. You just need to look at some of these protests, and that's the ones that are here legally. The ones that are here legally are bending over backwards to help the ones that are coming in illegally. And it's horrible. It's horrible because as soon as you say anything against the ones that are here legally, you're a racist fascist scum. So it's frustrating, it really is frustrating. And I promise you, I'm echoing the words of millions of people right now in this country, I keep saying to everybody, what gives me the strength to do this? Because every single person I talk to are saying the exact same thing. Like, there's for talk's sake, my friend, like, obviously he's going to have to be careful what he says and all that. And I don't know, to be honest with you, it's going to be new for me. I'm going to be learning stuff as well. It's not going to be one of them pre-hingy things where I know what he's going to say and he knows what I'm going to ask. I promise you, it's going to be raw, live, and it's going to be like in your face. And I don't know what he's going to come out and say. I really don't know what he's going to come out and say. But that's the whole point, yeah. That's the whole point of being democratic and the freedom of speech, And I'm going to respect anything he says. I really will. Because I think he's an amazing guy. I really do. He's a black African that's migrated to this country and he's an amazing human being. And like, so I want to make sure people realise that, even though there's some people coming in this country and they're not being very nice, right? There is really nice guys that have come into this country. There's so many of them. And, I imagine that they also will be like thinking, it's okay. I imagine they also will be thinking things like, when is this going to stop? I'll be interested to see how he does feel. I'm not going to imagine anything. We'll just talk to the guy, see exactly what he says. Let me see what it's like with a different. What's that do? So I'm just having a wee look at the camera. I've never. That's like a zoomer in sort of thing. I don't know if that's too much. I suppose it's different. I'll bring it out a wee touch here, just while I'm here. If I get into any wider bits, then I can do that. I think that's the way you'll do that. Yeah, like you say, it's a learning curve for me. And I know the reason why I do this because I used to watch these videos when people used to do this. I used to think, oh, brilliant, what I mean? When I lost my wife and my mental health was really bad, like I say, I never left the house for a couple of years, apart from taking my dogs out, obviously. But that was just up to the park and back. It wasn't any big walks or anything like that. To be honest with you, I was in really bad health because of what I was doing to myself, My heart and that was in a bad way and stuff like that. And, I think I was actually playing Russian roulette, to be honest with you guys. And there's no word to lie. I think it was like, I didn't really care if I lived or died at the time. I just wanted to be with my wife, and I think most people it's lost somebody totally understand what I'm saying, But so being a Belfast boy, sorry if it's fast. I'll try and stop doing that because I know that's annoying when I see it in other guys. Really, Yeah, come on, my girl. Waiting patiently for me. Yeah, so, yeah, Belfast boy, living in the city, and then coming to this. It is like a proper wee retirement for me, you know, in a way. It's a great place to get my mental health fixed, you know, because I don't think if I was back in Belfast and back with the boys and everything, you know, back drinking and whatnot, and doing the old sniff at the weekends and stuff like that, I don't think I would have helped my mental health. And I am quite vulnerable like that because people can take advantage of me because I'm very keen. I love my mates, you know. I'm a very lovable person. I love my mates. My mates are like my brothers because I don't have family. I mean, I class some of my mates as like really, really close. And like obviously I'm well versed and well schooled and I have my head screwed on now and I can read people like a book. So not many people can get through and like take advantage of me. And all my friends that I have now, and it is a very small number, you know, considering the many people I know are amazing, you know, and they would never, you know, they would never ever use me in any way, you know, even though they know how far I would go for them and their family, you know what I mean? You know, they still would never do that, and that's what good friends are about, you know. But you know what I mean? It's like when you're somebody like myself, you know what I mean? It's been on his own honest life. You do sort of like look for that kind of brotherly love and brotherly, you know. And I think that was probably happening to me all the way through my life. And obviously, guys know and could see that older guys would take advantage of that, you know. And I'm oblivious. You know, I'm only starting to work things out now. To be honest with you, I will be quite honest with you. Like it has, you know, this is me now, sober, don't drink and all that. I like a wee smoke, okay, now and again. It sort of like keeps my anger issues, if you want to call that. I don't even like calling because it is an issue, but it's not that bad, you know. I don't walk about. You know what I mean? I'm not a bad man, you know what I mean. I don't walk about angry, but I've got triggers, and the triggers would be bullies, people bullying other people, people in my face, people calling me out, people just saying want to fight. You know, that's a trigger. I can't. You know, I can't not. Whether I get beat or whether I win, that's irrelevant. You know, it's the whole point is like not saying no, not backing down. God help me. I don't know how I would manage if there was some time in my life I was too feared to defend myself, you know, and run away or something. I just don't know how I could handle that. So that thought, you know, I mean, no matter, and I know it's not, you got to understand, like the things I've done in my life, the type of guys I've went up against, for example, it's like, and I'm not bigging myself up. It's terrifying. I promise you, it's no fun. It's not. I'm not a big guy. I'm not a hard man. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I've just got a awfully big heart when it comes to stuff like that, and like it's the kind of thing where what happens is like I get angry, right, when something like when I say that final thing that can't going back, I'll see you at the shores, or I'll see you outside, or whatever it is that you say that guarantees there's no getting out of this. You got to fight this, man. When I'm at that stage where that's coming out of my mouth, it's almost like I'm trying to pull it back. You get me? It's almost as if somebody else is saying it, and then I'm like, shit. And it's too late because it's out, you know? And that happens quite a lot in my life. I don't know if people can relate to that. I've never spoke about this before. Like I say, I'm just starting to see a psychologist for the first time ever. I've had 2 sessions. So, yeah, I'll let you know how that goes if anybody's interested, you know? Because that's what it's about. You know, even if anybody can get any knowledge from this, anybody doing college work and stuff like that, just try and understand the workings of damaged kids that have grown into adulthood and what's the result. And hopefully I can show that there is hope, you know what I mean? And, you know, and if you understand exactly what I've done, you know, the amount of glue I sniffed when I was like really young, like 10, 11, 12, 13. Like, the last time I sniffed glue would have been 16 years old, and I had access to like a 24 pack of Evo stick or Time Bond or whatever it was, and one of my best friends went, "No, you're not doing that no more." And he was my best friend, like I said, like a brother, and that was the last time, you know. Thank God, and because it does a lot of damage to your brain cells and that. And I always think back, you know, because I was always worried growing up what damage I did do because I did sniff glue for so long, and yeah, I always wonder, like, where would it have been if I had been in the right hands in Kerr, you know? Because I know I've never been stupid. I've always had a certain intelligence. It's no like I struggled learning. I struggled like doing education because it was I struggled with the words and phrases and just the actual how would you put it, the I don't know how to say it, the framework of education of how it was delivered. I struggled with, you know. But as I got older and that and stuff and like I started more maturing and understanding things a bit better. Um, Yeah, it was. I suppose it's all about knowledge and what you put in your head. You know what I mean? In my head was all paramilitary stuff, loyalist stuff, the Queen, Britain. You know, I was just full of fighting for my country, for the cause, and you know, God save the Queen and all that carry on. And like, there was never any room for anything else. You know, I was a dedicated. I did one dedicated guy, and I think it was because obviously because I was on my own. I didn't have a family, and therefore I seen that in the organisation. You know, and you know, I cannot say nothing bad about the guys. You know, at the very start, there was a couple of commanders that took the piss. But as we grew up, I have to say, I was very, very lucky. You know, I had some really amazing people in my life, you know, um, that could have used me so differently. I don't know if I'm comfortable about saying too much about that, but it is really interesting because of where I was, you know. Okay, I'm going to say one thing, you know, and for the law, listen to this. This is a long time ago, right? And I do deserve the protection of the Good Friday Agreement. So when I was like 15, I was just getting into Tony. I've never ever spoke about this, even to a friend. You know, we don't because like us in Belfast don't talk about this. It's really strange. It's really really difficult. It's almost like I'm breaking some sort of code, you know what I mean? But I was 15, coming 16, and it was we have a smaller branch of the bigger organisations for the youth, you know, and I was just joined that, and you know, obviously my mum brought me up to be a loyalist and all the rest of it. So the first thing I wanted to do was, and I hate saying this, but I've got to be honest with you. I've got to be truthfully honest with you, and I feel really bad, horrible saying this, you know. And I'm not feared of anything. I'm not feared. It's nothing like that. I just feel a wee bit ashamed to say this right now, but I just wanted to kill Catholics, you know. And I didn't care, you know, because I didn't understand, you know what I mean? We were told the Catholics were our enemies, you know what I mean? The Catholics were beating me up in the town every time they got their hands on me. I got some terrible beatings by them, you know, so I never seen the difference between just Catholics and the IRA, you know what I mean? And I was, you know, I was a very young, silly boy, you know. And I hold nothing but regret in my heart for just being like that. And I'm going to tell you now. So my commander, here I still know. Um, back then, said no, you know, and he was a really good man, you know what I mean. And I don't know, maybe if it had been a different place in a different part of Belfast with a different commander, maybe I would have turned out completely different. Can you imagine the regrets I would have had, you know, going, nah, you know. I probably wouldn't have lived this far because I probably couldn't have lived with myself. And that's the God's honest truth, you know. I don't know where my head was at then, you know, to behave like that in that way, you know, but, yeah. So, yeah, it's difficult, like, and, but I'm just gonna be honest. I have to be honest. You know, there's no point doing this. You know what I mean? If you're not gonna be honest with people, people are here to hear the truths of what it's like for, like, if you're interested in Ulster or you're interested in mental health, or you're interested in how kids come out of child abuse and stuff like that. You know, how kids behave out of prison, how what happens to kids when you put them into prison at a young age. There's so much things that can come from me that can maybe help people in the future. Maybe even help other people in different countries to how to work with children that are damaged, you know. Yeah, so I was very lucky that way, and then, you know, from then on in, to be honest with you, I did have some really good commanders. They were like fathers to me, father figures. And that's all I'm going to say on that right now, you know, to be honest with you. Doesn't put everybody else's minds at rest. I would never talk about anything that I've done with anybody else that is still alive. I would never name anybody that's ever been involved with me with anything I've ever done at all. I would never give anybody a clue or slip up and give any information or locations or time dates or anything that could put me and somebody together if I'm ever talking about something I've done. I promise. No, I would never do that. The most important thing to me is still to this day is my brothers, you know. But the brother circle I have now is a lot wider and includes a lot different people. It includes Catholics in it now, you know, and even ex-Republicans that were my enemy and were like me at that age, wanted to kill me. You know, I open my arms. If you're listening to this and you're like, I'll change this for you guys, see if it gets a bit better. If you're that's not that better, is it? If you're like me and you've come on a journey and an awakening and whatnot, and you see the division that was put upon us by the government and how we've been used as tools in a bigger picture, and I open my arms to you, my man, and or woman, whatever, you know, because I'm very aware there was both men and women in both sides of the conflict, you know. So yeah, it's good to come a long way in it. It's good to be where I am, and it's good because I've never been bad. You know, you got to understand. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'm not, like I say, I've never done anything I'm ashamed of. You know, I've never hurt anybody that isn't bad, etc., etc., etc. But you know, saying all that, you know what I mean? You know, there was a lot of hatred. Excuse me, there was a lot of hatred in my life growing up, and it was horrible. Like my mum did bring me up to be a Protestant and all that. You know what I mean? I'm a Christian, and that's, like, you know, I've said that in my last videos. You know, my mum brought me up to be a Christian. She was only on this planet for 8 years, but, you know, the most amazing 8 years of my life. There's no two ways about it. I learned so much. She created me. You know, she's the reason why I'm where I am today. I should be so broken, honestly. I should be so broken. I should be in the bottom of a bottle, you know, or on the end of a needle. You know what I mean? Honestly, guys. You really don't understand what my mum has done for me in them 8 years, and it's totally amazing. I've got to let you know that, because I've never spoke like this about my mum. You know, I've always known, you know. There's other things I can say about my mum. I can talk about some spooky stuff that's happened to me in my life, you know, but I'll do that another time on another walk and talk, because not everybody's into that kind of thing. And remember, it's just my opinion, you know. And a lot of things have freaked me out in life. I promise you, there's some crazy things have happened to me in my life that I cannot explain, you know. There was definitely another force. I'm not one of them people. I've never spoke about it. I've never really, you know, I have mentioned it to a few people, like, and they'll laugh, and you know, it's strange. But, you know, there's like, I have had a ghost. A guy killed himself, hung himself in prison. Sorry, unlived himself in prison. And in the digger, solid confinement. And yeah, the bed's bolted to the ground. And when you're in solitary confinement, the prison officers, there's only like a few prison officers in the jail at night time. But when you're in solitary confinement down the digger, the hole, whatever you want to call it, there's even less prison officers, like, you know what I mean? And there's no keys, because they don't have keys, because if anybody does manage to get out and get the keys, then everybody gets out. So even if you're having a heart attack in prison, you're dead, because there's no way they can get a key to open that door in quick time, you understand? Because that's just the way the security is. So this was late at night, and I had this feeling that there was somebody in the room with me, and I felt awful feared. And I'm not that kind of guy, I promise you. And I had my head under the blankets, and I was terrified. And the bed's bolted to the floor, but there's at the foot pole and the head pole, if you shook it, there's a bit of movement. There's a wee bit of movement with the bolts. It's not frigid, you know. And my bed shook back and forth, you know. Now, some people might say, you must have been dreaming, but, like, you know, I can remember that like it was yesterday. I can remember it really, really, you know, because it's never left me. It's happened, what, 20 years ago, and it's never left me, that moment. You know, it's never left me. I've had a couple of other wee moments, but nothing that's been the most extreme where I've actually felt a spirit or a ghost or whatever you want to call it mess about me. And the guy was, should remember the guy's name with a wee bit of respect, you know what I mean? But he was called the Vampire Killer, Scotland. So if you look that up, he killed his mate. He watched a film called Something of the Damned, and apparently killed his mate and ate a bit, you know. So I could tell you a story about that guy. That's a pretty sad story, so it is as well. Nothing but sad stories, to be honest with you, in the working class areas. It's quite horrific. It's quite bad, you know what I mean? And like I say, I'm not doing this for content and all that, you know. I'd like to get my story out one day and maybe make some money off that for my child. I would really like my child to have a better start than me, you know. Because I know there's nothing there that the government can offer, or there's nothing there as opportunities, you know. So she will need a bit of a help. So I'm going to do what I can, you know what I mean, before I leave her, to have something in a pot for her. I think that's important, like. But you know, as far as anything else goes, I'm quite happy talking away and giving free content and all that. I don't want to make money, I want to help people. And I definitely don't want my message getting lost over a few quid. Definitely, 100% don't want that. Like I've said before, I don't want for nothing. I don't have much. Like I said, I've got pennies in my bank account. But we've got everything I want for the baby. Everything's in for the baby. I got the new Duna. That's amazing. It's like a pram and a car seat in one. It's a graveyard, guys. I don't know if there's any names. It doesn't really matter. I'm not really bothered, like, to be honest with you. I'm not scared of anybody. You know? But what I am going to do, guys, I'm just going to stop because I'm going to get on the main road here, and I want to get the dog on the lead and just keep an eye on traffic, you know, stuff like that. You know, have my wits about me. And then once I get back into the woods, it's only like a wee half a mile, and then I'm back in the woods, and I'll start this again from there. Okay, guys, thank you very much.